PMC Cargo Dispatch 559. We're requesting drop-off clearance for delivery 13 Omega.
Affirmative. Deposit delivery in docking bay 1. Be advised. Micrometeor storm approaching. Expedite your business. PPMC delivery 13 Omega. Warning. Contents hazardous.
Self-Destruct sequence activated.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Runkly here, and you're listening to the Self-Destruct Sequence podcast.
And I am the guy who does funny voices. I'm Morphi. Thanks for joining us. It's July 30th, and this is episode 29.
Funny you should say that about funny voices, but we'll get to that later. And we have actually a absolute ton of news this episode. There's been a lot going on. We're going to start with, actually this week, we're going to start with Overload.
Overload?
Oh, yeah, Overload has been making a little bit of noise.
Overload?
Overload, the new 6 Degree of Freedom game by the same guys who made Descent.
But it's not Descent?
It's not Descent.
It's Overload.
It's Overload.
So this is the Descent that's not Descent, not to be confused with the other Descent.
Which
is
Descent.
which is its own version of Descent.
Yeah, it's let's be fair, it's still Descent. But anyway, Overload, of course, they had said initially that they're going to make a second demo available to backers in July. That hasn't happened yet. However, what has happened is that they've put out kind of like an update video showing what the team is working on. If you look up July demo work video on YouTube, you can find that video. They've also linked it on their forums. But yeah, they're expecting to have that demo out very, very soon. So if you've backed Overload, you're gonna have an opportunity to play that demo very soon, I'm sure. So definitely check that out. And that was Kathy Snyder who posted that as well. She did the video and everything. So definitely check that out. It was a pretty cool video. Gives you a little insight what's going on with the dev team. They sit down.
I heard rumor that there was like 27 different weapons or something crazy like that.
Yeah, I got like upgrade paths and stuff. It'll be interesting to see how that works in the demo. But
I think the philosophy right now is let's create a whole bunch, then we'll see what's fun, and then we'll tune it.
That actually is a pretty good idea for a game in its early stages. Just see what's good, see what needs work, see what doesn't work at all. Kind of like laser grids. But that's another game. But anyway, like I said, the videos on YouTube, they actually sit down and have a little short one-on-one discussion with each of the devs, and they just explain what they're doing. So it's kind of a cool update video. Definitely go ahead and check that out. And Descent Underground, they've ever since they fixed their major bug in their engine, they've been rapid fire mode. This time they have a Proving Grounds build coming out that features. We talked briefly last week about survival mode. That is in Proving Grounds. So if you've either backed the game at the beta level or are part of their underground, you will have access to this Proving Grounds build with the survival mode, which is basically kind of like, I guess, control points. You go to a control point, and then AI will spawn around you, and you have to basically defend the point. And as the map gets deeper and deeper into the game, it gets harder and harder. They've actually said that the AI progresses in difficulty throughout the game. So it's not just you set a difficulty setting and that's it. No, the difficulty changes and gets harder as you get further into the game. And that sounds pretty neat. I'm wanting to go in if I've got two problems right now. Of course, my frozen shoulder, I can't play a 6-degree freedom game for longer than 15 minutes at a time right now. And the other issue is, as I found out when I was testing something with you earlier this week, my up and down slide buttons aren't working, which is it's terrible. I'm gonna need to do something about that. So, but I definitely want to check it out though. It actually sounds pretty cool. They've actually added something called Minor Mayhem as well to the old Rama map, where basically I think the idea behind it is that teams control a miner to gain score. I don't know too many details. There weren't too many details on it in the patch notes, but
Is the miner mobile, or in which case is this kind of a spin a push the cart?
I haven't seen much on it. So yeah, they didn't have a whole lot of notes on it. Again, it's something I need to get into play, and I just really can't do it right now. They've also added.
Well, I mean, like the basic idea with Underground is that like you had drills on your ship and stuff, right? Your ship was supposed to be able to handle some of the mining, wasn't it?
Yes.
But
yeah.
Here's a control a miner to gain score.
Yeah.
I'm guessing
like I
a
said,
team
there
resource,
wasn't
or...
anything in the match notes. I haven't had a chance to play it.
Oh, no, but I can poke and speculate.
Yeah.
But it just reminds me of the concept seems to ring like Leviathan from Unreal Tournament, the gigantic monstrous machine that everybody wanted to control.
Right.
As long as you're controlling the big machine, you're winning.
Yeah. There's like a couple PvP battlegrounds in World of Warcraft that sound very similar to this. So it is, and basically what it is, Lothar saying, is that some of the ships are more like bulk miners, and maybe that's what this is you're escorting one of those guys that can't defend itself. So, well, like I said, I'll try to get in there and see what that is. I haven't had a whole lot of time to do that, but that's a new mode. That's two new modes that are in Proving Grounds, and they've added a new persistent lobby. This is just basically a quality of life improvement for people playing multiplayer games. You basically get a lobby together. You get a whole bunch of people together. You go play a game, and right now what it does is when you're done, it just dumps you out to the drone bay. Well, what they've changed is instead of dumping out to the drone bay, it dumps you back into the lobby with the same people. So if you want to play another game, there you go. And I think that's kind of it's a really good thing. And I say that coming from the experience of, I don't know if you probably don't even have a computer that can run Overwatch, which is a Blizzard game. And one of the nice things about Overwatch is that once you go into and this doesn't apply to competitive mode, but once you go into a game, it just keeps playing games over and over. You don't go back to the main menu or to a lobby or anything like that. You just play another game. It'll just throw you into another game. And this is kind of like a step in that direction. You have to, when you go back to the lobby, you have to choose your settings and all that.
And so you're only like really making matches with other people who at that time happen to be in that base lobby.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas I'm guessing that this also can be a little bit smart and see that a match might be ending in about 2 minutes. And if we can, we can say, hey, we got a match ready for you in the 90 seconds here.
Yeah, they do have a match browser now, so you can see things like that. I don't think it goes quite that in depth, but
okay,
you can definitely get involved on these joining lobbies by joining a lobby or get an invite to it or something. And it's a pretty cool process. They have been making really good additions to how their whole matchmaking system works.
I think I understand it now. Excuse me.
Yeah.
It's like how you used to connect to a third-party server, and the map would change.
Right.
And when you were done with your match, the map changed, but you were still connected to the server.
Right.
Same instance here, except that your server may change. It's just the game is managing your experience to stay in game.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And
got it.
And like I said, the person who's running the lobby still has to choose the map and all that. But the point is, you stay in the lobby with the same people. You don't have to create a new lobby just to play with the same people that you're that you're trying to play with. So it's kind of cool. I like that. They've got some changes to the Drone Bay UI. Nothing too earth-shattering there. You can now also pick your initial drone while you're in the match lobby. You don't have to do that in game or anything. So that's a good update. And then they've added a server region options. You can choose whether you want to play North American or European servers, and you can select your default region as well. I remember when I was trying something not too long ago, I got dumped onto an EU server, and because this game is like absolutely horrific with any lag over, let's say, like 50 milliseconds, it was not a good experience. So it's good to see that they're kind of like segregating the servers out until they do something about their lag issue. I mean, it's really bad, but the default region options are available. They've also have kind of did a pass on the UI between the single player and the multiplayer modes, so that the UIs have the same look and feel when you create the game. And when you're dead, you can now chat and pause, use the pause menu to change settings and stuff like that. That was a big problem before, where you died and you tried to go change your settings, you couldn't do it. Like you wanted to change your mouse sensitivity or something like that. And then the other various bug fixes, there's a ton of them. You can go to their website, check out their blogs under the Proving Grounds builds. This is where I get most of the information from, because they are very detailed with their patch notes. And they listed out a ton of smaller fixes that you can go check out over on DescendantStudios.com. And finally, Sublevel Zero came out with some pretty heavy-hitting news. They have a new beta patch that will allow you to play the game on the Oculus Rift. VR is they already had a VR for I think like Vive, but this one lets you play on the Oculus Rift, and they are very excited about this. A lot of people have been wanting this. It's like half the threads on their forum is, when are you releasing on the Rift? When are you releasing VR here? Where are you releasing it there? And they finally delivered. And one of the things that I found interesting is that they added something called, and this looks like something that's toggleable in game. It's called tunneling mode. And what this does is it basically takes your field of view and blacks out the edges so that you're just seeing a circle in the middle of your field of view. And the reason that they've done this is to help people who are experiencing motion sickness in the game.
So,
it's their way of solving the motion sickness problem in 6 Degree of Freedom.
Okay, I think I understand. Never mind the fact that you're looking at a simulated 3D to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
But are you saying that this is a precursor to simulations of Come to the Light?
Oh yeah, they call
there
tunneling
is
mode.
peace and serenity.
There's not light at the end
in
of the
the
tunnel.
light.
But yeah, it seems like an interesting idea. I don't have any VR devices myself, so I can't test it out. But apparently the developers, one of the, like the art developer, for instance, I think is Gary Lloyd, has been tweeting about problems that he's had with motion sickness, and like half of his time developing the game is fighting off being sick from playing it. So it sounds like this is something that they need as well as the people playing the game. So yeah, a little tunnel vision addition to the game to help people with the motion sickness when playing on VR. That can't be bad. So, and we're gonna go ahead and move on to the community news, but we're not done yet with news about various games, because DXX Rebirth tweeted out earlier this week that their tracker that they've been working on is nearly complete. They're going to be doing a last code merge very soon, and when that's done, Rebirth 0.60 is going to be going into QA. Now, we remember when we had Zyko on way back when, and he was saying we were going to release this Thanksgiving. That was the initial plan, but we've had to back it off. Well, he didn't say it was Thanksgiving 2016, did he?
Mm.
So, but
This
I mean,
is very true.
Yeah, the Rebirth is definitely not a dead project. It is. It still gets uh, regular developments. The like for instance the 0.58.1, which is the main version that people play if they're playing Rebirth today, is basically the old C code. 0.60 unifies a lot of the D1 and D2 code that's exactly the same, and they've converted it from C to C++. So there's a basic code change. They have got like it's a very big undertaking, and that's really why we haven't heard a whole lot of release news from them, because they've been busy putting this code together. I know that they've got a lot of things in the works. They were talking about adding observer mode after 0.60. I believe that they've worked on their homing missiles, which are like atrocious in 58.1 for net games anyway. And I don't have the list of fixes. They don't have any information on what 0.60 is going to have. Hopefully, when they release it, they'll include it. But yeah, I mean, their repository is open, and I've taken a look at it, and they've done a lot of work on this. It looks way different than the like the retro source code. It is way different. So,
If I may ask,
Mhm.
I think that most people who are vaguely familiar with programming can understand and appreciate that it's a major undertaking to
Mhm.
move everything from one language to another. What is the significance in moving from C to C++ with this code? What is it that C++ offers that C wasn't able to get the job done, or was it that there was kind of like a hybrid code? Some of it was C, some of it was C++, and it wasn't arguing correctly? Well, what's going on there?
Well, Descent is all C. I didn't see if they're doing any type of hybrid C C++
I just speak from a
unified
point
base,
of
but
ignorance. I was just,
yeah. I'm, but
why
I'm,
would
I'm,
you
I'm, try,
want
I'm
to
trying to
move
I'm
from
trying to say
C?
this because my main job is programming. I can explain this at a level that's going to make a lot
Right.
of our listeners scratch their heads and go, "What did he just say?" Um, but like, there's a couple main goals with this. One is to make it easier on themselves to make changes. C++ is like an evolution of C. It has different tools to make programming easier. Um, but another possible reason for upgrading is performance. Not that Descent needs any more performance. It runs at freaking 200 FPS on a freaking toaster. Uh, so,
But it doesn't run like that on a potato.
no, I don't. Yeah,
And we have dear friends in Latvia that wish to play.
or Pennsylvania,
Latvia.
Pennsylvania too.
Let, let
So yeah, that's kind of what they're doing with the changes. I know they added like a game timer to single player. It's not very good, but stuff like that. Um, and yeah, they haven't given a date. Obviously, they've tried to give dates in the past, and they've blew by them all by months. So hopefully, this will be a really soon thing, and not just like a Blizzard soon thing where it could be 3 years from now. Because we really excited about getting any Descent development. So yeah, and that does it for Rebirth. And now for the Descent Rangers. Descent Rangers actually have been, and I'm just going to bring this up very briefly, they've been talking about possibly moving their center of operations from Mumble to Discord. They're actually testing it out right now. And there's a lot of people involved with that, but there's a couple of people that can't really get it working right. They can only use a website, stuff like that. So I'm not quite sure it's going to happen, but there is a server up. That would be interesting to see. Discord's kind of a it's really nice in that it does a lot of things. It's basically designed to replace Skype, for instance. They're going to have like one-on-one calling, stuff like that. But as for what the Descent community needs, like the Rangers, for instance, one of the things that I've noticed that Discord is missing is, let's say you've got Morphod and Lady Silver want to play a match, and they need to kind of discuss where they're going to play. Well, Morphod's in voice chat talking to her. She's in voice chat, but she can only listen. She can't really type or anything, and she wants to, she wants to have a place where she's just typing in that chat room. Well, in Mumble, your voice chat and text chat are the same channel. In Discord, they're not. So she's typing in general chat, and everyone's seeing one side of a chat that's not happening. So it's kind of awkward when that happens.
Yeah, it was a little disorienting at first when I encountered it, but then once I understood what was happening and disassociated text channels from voice channels, I got along a bit better.
Yeah. So that's the thing, is that Mumble does a good job of combining the two, and there's no real way to combine the two without making a plethora of text channels to accompany the voice channels. It's not the same thing because they are separate, and so that's been kind of a issue that they're having. So we'll see if they move. I like Discord personally. It's probably my favorite communication app that's come out in a very long time. I'm not a fan of Skype. The only thing I use Skype for is this podcast. I also use Google Hangouts on the other podcast. That's kind of okay. It's a lot better than Skype. We actually, I don't know if you know that Six Gaming used Skype for like the first, I don't know how long, like 15 episodes of the first run. So yeah, we basically grew up on Skype and then decided to leave. So, but yeah, I mean, communication is important in games.
It's also very important for communities that surround legacy games like Descent. The game continues to be played for as long as people are able to easily get in touch with each other and easily organize themselves. And I think that Discord very possibly offers that. It as far as small users like the Descent Rangers community, it doesn't cost them anything, and there's an organic way of organizing there rather than having something strictly structured top down.
Yeah,
and I think that'll work with the size of the community that we have.
Yeah, it can, and I have a little bit of experience with this as well. When I was playing World of Warcraft, we actually ran a Ventrilo server where we'd come and that's where we do all our voice chatting and stuff like that. But when we stopped playing World of Warcraft, we had no reason to get on that voice server anymore. That's basically all Ventrilo is voice. They do have some text, but I mean, it's terribly implemented. And once we stopped doing that, that's when we decided, hey, we're going to move to Discord. Well, guess what? Not everyone moved to Discord. There's a lot of people that were with us on the Ventrilo server that never showed up on Discord for more than like 2 seconds, if even that. So I imagine that with the Rangers, we'll probably have like a similar, I hate to use the word attrition, but that's basically what it is. But I mean, it's hard to get people to do something different when they're comfortable with what they have. And I think that's a big part of whether or not they're going to make the decision to move, is if they can get the people that are having the most trouble with it or the most resistance to it to come around and move on. Like I said, I'm personally big on Discord. I think it's really a really nice application, but Mumble does have its comforts. And
do we have a link for the Discord channel?
I do not believe we do. Let me check, because this is actually front page news on the Descent Rangers page.
Well, if it's available there, then we can.
Yeah, but I don't think it is.
Just to redirect people there, but I know that I have wanted to get in there. Somebody dropped a link. I didn't quite understand how the link worked. I clicked it. I didn't get anywhere where I expected to go. So I just wanted to make certain I got the right link, that kind of stuff.
Right, because I know the Discord server popped up on the Facebook page, but that's a private Facebook page, so I don't really want to give out that link if that's not a thing. And I'm not seeing it available, but maybe
Perhaps
someone
one
in
of our
chat can...
one of our fine fans here.
Yeah, and Lothar's got the similar experience to me. He says he mostly likes Discord because I'm already on Discord all the time. If I open up Discord here, let me see. I'm on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Jesus. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. I am on 20 servers. How did this happen?
Oh, so you can be connected to several different chat channels. Well, but you obviously can only be really connected to one voice channel at any given time.
Right, you can only be connected to one voice channel at any given time. But like I'm looking at the Six Gaming general chat right now, and I can switch over to the Descent Rangers mumble and read what's been going on there. Read Ernie talking with everyone, which is pretty much all that happens on there right now, and then switch down the observatory and see for some reason Scion's logged into the observatory Discord. That's really odd, but hey, teach his own. But I mean, that's the thing is that once you join a server, you can be logged in literally 24/7 by keeping the application open. Another thing, of course, if you have a mobile device, it's on iOS, Android. I'm not sure if it's in the Windows Store. I imagine it might be. You can get this on your mobile device and actually connect from there and check your messages. You can get notifications on there. In Discord it's really good. Lothar
And
actually,
often the people that you fight the most with.
talk to the people that you fight the most with. That's never been truer. And Lothar did actually drop a link in chat.
Brilliant. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So there's that. And as far as the regular events, of course, they've got their weekly events happening. Total Chaos is the next event. Basically, it's insane difficulty with all weapons allowed in Total Chaos Level 1.
Total Chaos.
Total Chaos Level 1. Just Level 1?
Like, we're not even going to get to see Bushwhacker's Paradise? Because that was like the best Total Chaos level ever.
Oh, the way that set has been described to me, it's like it's what people play when they're like being drunk and rowdy and having fun. It's not a serious game.
There is grand memories in there, and I think that as far as what the Descent team had in mind when they thought, well, golly, you can play we're going to have 8-player multiplayer. What game had 8-player multiplayer and then on top of it, it's 6 degrees of freedom?
Yeah.
This is gonna be nuts. We gotta make a multiplayer level for this, and we have, you got all of these other shooters coming out with a better understanding of how to create a multiplayer space. They didn't know how to create it, and actually, as far as capturing the classic claustrophobic Descent feel, absolutely nothing like any of the flat competitive levels that we have today. Total Chaos is an excellent package for introducing somebody to the 6 degrees of freedom multiplayer experience. They did an excellent job there. I think the levels last.
Yeah, they have everything in it. They have the mega missiles, they have cloaks. I think there's even vulnerabilities in a couple of them, and none of those are banned. They're all going to be in the game, and that is this coming Saturday, week from today, August 6th at 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific. And also, the team tournament should be wrapping up today. There are 3 games remaining, all of them involving the blue team, which sadly I'm a part of and can't do much about. The current standings, red team's leading. They have 563, but they could be challenged. The black team has a game remaining. They're only 80 points behind. Gold team with 2 games remaining, and as far as points per game, the gold team has just been dominating this tournament. They've played 4 and have basically averaged more than 99 points a game. So they're really dominating. And then blue team 290. They got 3 games left. They could still possibly make a run for it if they do very well in all 3 games. And the final event should be today. I don't, but I thought that these games were supposed to be played on Thursday. I don't know if they just haven't been updated or what. But hopefully we get the results for that tournament next episode. And that does it for the Descent Rangers. Do you have some stuff?
Stuff.
How much stuff do you have?
I got a shit ton of stuff. Anyway, let's see here. We got a whole bunch of DCL action last 2 weeks, and by a whole bunch I mean 82 matches, which is far from peak for a 2-week period. But I was just thinking, we've had a bit of a chat about the downturn in activity, but compare that to past ladders like the IDL and the UDL. 82 matches in 2 weeks would have been considered absolutely humming.
Yes.
So Again, props to all of those that are in activity. It looks like most of the action has been between silver and bronze, with 26 matches between them, and a lot of in-house action, bronze versus bronze. And we have a few key pilots that we would like to blame for that. And with that, we're going to move right into the bronze highlights. I don't really have too many notes here to say for Apo and Leto, but we'd like to acknowledge that they played 3 matches and 2 matches respectively this week. One of the biggest one of the most active pilots on the entire ladder has been Lee for the past couple of reports here. He's played 18 matches in the last 2 weeks. He's played 15 of them against silver pilots. Noteworthy accomplishment for this week is picking up the X4 trophy in a 2013 win against Apo in Wrath X4.
May I also point out that is Lee's first win on the ladder.
It is. Very good. So congratulations to Lee on your first win, and to do it in such a nasty environment like Wrath X4.
Wrath to begin with.
Wrath is unpleasant.
You could call Wrath X4 without X4.
Wrath is unpleasant in the same sense that stabbing my hand with a needle is unpleasant. But let's do that 4 times from 4 different angles. That would be regarded as more unpleasant, yes. So, congratulations to Lee on his win and his shiny new trophy. Moving on, we got a couple of guys here that has been bonking each other's heads pretty hard. Skywarp here, have him listed down 9 matches and is 4-3 against bronze in the past 2 weeks. His favorite target appears to be Swarthy. And I have him down here for a 21-19 win against Swarthy in Descent 2 Vamped. I actually can't see whether that was a trophy match.
It was not.
It was not. Also, notable accomplishment for Skywarp. He's gotten 2 dominations against Leto in the levels Mind Tricks and in Descent 2, the level Scrimmage. Congratulations to Skywarp. Swarthy has played 7 matches in the last 2 weeks. He's 2-4 against bronze, and you can blame Skywarp for a bit of that, but he has a couple good highlights. 20-15 against Skywarp in Hybrids of Steel, and 20-18 against Skywarp in Salute. Then we have, the past couple reports we've been taking a nice close look at the series between the Kiwis, SDF Jeff, and PP Sky. They've played 6 matches in the last 2 weeks, and SDF Jeff is up 5-1. Let's just take a quick rundown of the scores. We got 20-17 in velocity. These are scores SDF Jeff versus PP Sky in that order. So, and then we have 20-14 in Bluebird, 20-16 in Logic, 20-18 in Crimson. PP Sky picks up his only win of the series, 20-18 in Black Rose. And the highlight of this series is a 26-24 overtime match, SDF Jeff over PP Sky in Athena X4.
Oh, jeez, what is...
if you're going to do X4...
Athena X4 means 64 homing missiles.
If you're going to do X4 in Athena, you might as well just do X5.
Because if you have 64 homing missiles, why not make it 80?
You already drank 6 beers. Just have the 6th one.
Have another beer.
You just finish the pack.
Oh.
It just seems wrong to leave one behind, So, good stuff coming from the other side of the world.
Keep in mind that X5 is technically a bug.
Technically. And to round out bronze here, we're going to look at bronze's most exciting player. And the one player that all of bronze tier would love to have out of bronze. B2AF putting in 14 matches in the past 2 weeks. He's 3-0 against bronze. He's played 8 matches against silver and 2 matches against gold. He's picked up a domination against fellow bronze pilot Skywarp in the level Logic X4, but most of his accomplishments in the last 2 weeks have come from his games against silver and gold pilots. He has no wins. Thank goodness, because he's been right on the edge of these dark horses. We're talking a 17-20 game against Lady Silver and Vamped, 16-20 against Behemoth and Flea, 15-20 against Lothar Bot and Fused, 15 to 20 against Vaniac in Agile doubled primaries. And then on top of that, he's been picking up embarrassing scores. He's been embarrassing gold pilots with scores like 16 to 20 against. Are we calling him a trio, or are we calling him Diablo, or are we calling him Rethink?
So on Discord, he is Rethink.
Okay, so Rethink. All right, so it's 16 to 20 against Rethink in Lurk, and 16 to 20 against Morphod in Flee. So I'm certain that once that ticker reaches 30 days, the ladder code is going to be practically screaming at the algorithm, and we're going to see that promotion challenge come up very quickly.
As a note, that will be his if he does get one. Let me see. 30 days should be a week from Sunday. So if he does get it, it will be his last attempt this season.
Should be very exciting. Looking forward to seeing it. And that kind of wraps it up here for bronze. We're going to move on to silver. We're going to say hello to Lothar Ba. How you doing? He's played 9 matches. And of note, against bronze, he's picked up a domination. That's a 22-3 game against Lee Infused. Against other silver pilots, he's been... no, actually, excuse me. He has not played silver pilots. I have different pilot profiles bleeding across the place. So my apologies. I actually don't have any other significant notes for Lothar Bot. We have Behemoth playing 4 matches and is 0-2 against silver this week. Again, nothing has really stuck out. We try to highlight the games that are within 5 points or closer, that are not dark horses or threats in the wrong direction. So moving on, we have Lady Silver playing 14 matches this week. 6 of those against gold, is 2-4 against silver, and has a close game of 20-18 against Behemoth in Athena, and has picked up a domination against a very, very surprising opponent. 20-8 against Vaniac.
What?
In Flee. Did I read that right?
Well, Flee is a strong level.
It's her
for
home
Lady
level,
Silver.
I believe. At this right now, I do believe it's her home level.
Mm-hmm.
But is it strong enough to beat the Vulcan sidearm of Vaniac?
That's an impressive.
Apparently. Just do me a favor, double check that, make certain that wasn't I didn't put it in the wrong place or.
Oh no, you
All right.
You put it in the right spot.
Very good. And she's also picked up a dark horse. That's 20-15 against Rethink in Crimson X2.
And that is her first gold dark horse.
Well, congratulations to Lady Silver.
I will point out that Rethink in Rethink style put an asterisk by this one. He said he's playing on a laptop. But when you put Vaniac down 20-8, you're going to get a win over a gold pilot at some point.
Very
Crimson
true.
Also a very strong level for Lady Silver. I don't think that was
Previous
a fluke
home, yes. Other things of note, just because I've contributed to the statistic, is the Curse of 11. There's a run of scores here, and actually in a row, or against one particular pilot, where she's only managed to get 11 points against her opponent. And it's actually kind of amusing. It was pointed out by Watts after seeing it happen for the 4th time in a row.
That's crazy.
Will she be able to shake the Curse of 11? We shall see.
Any game that she has not won against gold in the last 2 weeks, she has lost 20-11.
And with that, we move on to Vaniac, Mr. Silver, with 18 matches. Against Bronze Pilot, he's picked up 5 dominations. And all of them are against Lee, who just cannot get enough of playing Silver tier pilots. Looks like he's picked up. Vaniac has picked up these wins in Bluebird, Lurk, Agile, Antarctic, and Rumble, continuing his tradition of playing levels off of the core, and is one of the strongest proponents for playing a wide variety of levels, as well on his way of receiving the season end accolades for introducing level diversity to the season. Against Silver Pilots, he's 4-5 with a highlight win of 20-15 against Lady Silver in Logic. And against Gold, he hasn't been doing too shabby either. He's got a 15-20 score against Morphod in Savage, a 19 to 21 score against Sirius in Ascend, both regarded as threatening scores. And he picked up a dark horse, 20 to
Nice.
18 against Sirius in Savage. So Vaniac, steady, consistent improvement. Just a little bit of a question mark against that 20 to 8 score. Once he puts that away, takes care of that. Are we looking at another gold pilot? Speaking of pilots that really damn well ought to be a gold, we get to top silver. That's Bahamut, who's put in a whopping 16 matches this week. He's picked up dominations against bronze. He's picked up 3 of those against Lee, and an interesting level mix. He's done it in Fused. He's done it in Descent 2 Black Rose. I think this was misreported, but is that burning? Is it burning?
Oh, that
Indica?
probably actually is misreported. Because
So that's a Descent 3.
there is no D1 burning indica, so that's
I didn't think so.
probably
So that's a
misreport.
Descent 3 match.
Yeah.
So he had a round the world tour there. Descent 1, 2, and 3 domination scores against Lee and bronze. And he is 5-0 against silver pilots in the last 2 weeks, with marquee wins 21-19 against Vaniac and Satan's Hellhole, and picking up 2 trophies. 20 to 13 against Vaniac and UG for the Fusion Trophy, and 20 to 13 against Vaniac in Bluebird for the Dogfight Trophy. So he's sitting at the top of silver. He's picking up dominations in all 3 descents. He's picked up a couple trophies for himself. You know what he can't seem to get? A match with Morphod, because Morphod is a chicken shit. Moving forward into gold.
Nice.
Moving forward into gold, like we did for other pilots, we like to recognize that people are playing, even if they don't meet the algorithm for reporting on the news. We like to acknowledge that Zero has stepped in and played a couple matches. Dracona has stopped in and played a couple matches, including one for my demotion challenge. And Rethink has been mentioned quite a bit all across the board, and he's played 5 matches this week, but nothing really noteworthy from the gold side of things. So we'll move right on to me. I like talking about myself. Morphod here with 13 matches in the last 2 weeks, is 2-1 against gold pilots, and has passed his demotion challenge in those very 3 games, including a 22 to 20 overtime win against Sirius and Mindtrix, and a 20 to 16 win over Dracona in Junebug.
That's very nice. And let me just step in here because I want to discuss this demotion challenge really quick, because this demotion challenge was closed after only 3 games, and the reason for that was lack of activity in gold.
Was it really?
Yes.
I thought it was closed because there was a big mess of positive points that were impossible to overcome, no matter how.
Well,
poorly.
there's that, but I mean, the reason there was only 3 people signing up. I mean, you look at
this is true, but we
look at
also
who's
have to
there.
recognize that Rethink did sign up at the end there.
Oh, he did.
So, yeah, he did
That-
sign
that
up at
match
the end,
didn't
and I
happen.
just said close it because
Yeah.
I could play Rethink in a match,
Mhm.
and it's not going to affect the result of the demotion challenge. Let's just if you meet the bar, you're done.
Yeah, but
So.
of course, when these challenges were put in, each category of pilots had a very healthy distribution. But you look at what happened to gold. Gold has been cannibalized as of late. Mark and Jedi Luke went diamond, and then we've had demotions. Pretty much a lot of demotions. Bahamut,
We had Behemoth.
Lotharbot. I think a couple retirements as well. Cyrus.
Yeah,
has
Cyrus
retired.
has stepped out.
That is a lot. That is like at least 6
And
pilots
I
we've
was
lost to gold.
inactive for quite a while there as well.
Yeah. So I mean, this isn't, the reason for it isn't because.
And we also had top silver pilots that were probably close to that threshold become inactive as well.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, very very much so. So, but yeah, I mean, it's not been a pretty landscape for gold lately, just simply because of the activity level.
I would agree. So, but I'm glad that I'm able to stay in gold because losing yet another gold pilot.
No, we didn't want to do that. This
no.
was definitely a contingency plan that had to be done just for the health of the ladder. I guess would be a good.
Well,
way to put
I
it.
sure hope that those matches weren't thrown. So
I doubt they were. I mean, these are pretty. I mean, you look at these. I'm just going to announce the two of them. I'll leave you for the third one in a minute. But all these matches were within scores that you've had with the same pilots previously. So
I see.
It's definitely. I don't think this is anything to do with throwing. But I mean, you ended up with a plus 17 after 3 games.
Yay, Skippy.
Yep, that's the way to do it.
Then I'm going to move on from talking about myself, which is an exhausting affair, and say hello to Sirius, who's put in 6 matches this week, and he's 1-3 against Gold. And also is the highlight of this week is 30-28 win over some jerk named Morphod in a demotion challenge in Ascend. 30-28.
Wow.
And that was a 30-minute match, so you're looking at a kill every 30 seconds, roughly, which, we've seen faster. We've seen, 20 to 5 matches that were done in 12 minutes. But I will tell you that I was in there, and it was ferocious, and it was when the final kill came in, there was simply relief. It wasn't that, oh man, I lost or I just missed it. It was like, oh, thank heavens, it's done. It's like, like 10 minutes ago, I had something to prove. 5 minutes ago, I was getting hungry. 3 minutes ago, I had to go to the bathroom. Now it's over.
Oh man, it's kind of funny because I'll just give a brief rundown of my overtime experience on the DCL. My very first overtime game, Lothar may remember this because he was. I don't remember how he was watching the game because there was no observer mode at the time, but he was in there, and it was me and a British guy by the name of Jackie, and me and him went in fused 26-24. And I'll be quite honest, I probably threw the game just simply because I was shaking so hard I could not control my ship the way I wanted to.
There's definitely a fatigue factor, and I don't think at that point it's throwing the game.
Oh, fused observatory. There's an observatory fused.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
it's not like throwing the game in terms of I don't want to play anymore. It's throwing the game because you can't play anymore. It's physically impossible.
No, that's the loss of mental toughness that people keep talking about.
And take that, and you go to one of my more recent overtime games against Spudley, and this was in Mind Tricks, and the game gets up to like 25-25, and I'm like, oh man, I could do this all night. It's just like such a change of mental attitude from when you first start to later on, and I ended up winning that one 28-26.
You tend to find that kind of behavior on LAN, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly because you have a much higher endurance because there's less connection difficulties, and the fact that you're there for the purpose of playing games. In which case, yeah, let's go to like 36, buddy.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just like a fight forever mentality, It's just like, this is so much fun. I just want to keep doing it all night. But obviously, you want the win. But
at that point, it's not. I'm tired and I have to. No, because we don't have anything to do in the morning. Let's go. And then it becomes, well, I'm going to win because even though we're going to play another game after this, I need this win now.
Yeah. And what amazes me is seeing these long overtime matches happen in in these tiny levels. Like Ascend is not something that would lend to a long overtime, just simply because half the time, there's a random smart, I just died. And that can happen like 3, 4, 5 times in a row. And I've seen overtimes happen like this in this level, in levels like Mind Tricks, I mentioned that one, and even Bluebird. I mean, I had a 30-28 in Bluebird once. It's just like I would expect these long overtime matches to happen in the larger style levels, like Athena, like Lurk, stuff like that.
Those are the levels that when you have a small space and you're thrown around so much. there's less space to maneuver. You have a
But I
much
think
higher.
there's less space to maneuver, but there's more chance for random to happen. Like that's smart in the face. Or
I think that's up for
Bluebird's kind of an exception because that's dogfighting. That's just trying to get a one up on your opponent. But like the when you're in a small cramped level, like Wrath would be another one I would never consider to have long overtime games, and we've seen them. It happens and just the amount of random that can happen in
I
that
just
game
think
just
that
doesn't
the
lead to that
the
kind of
smaller
result.
levels allow for more opportunity for interaction,
Mm-hmm.
and as a result, you're in a much higher you have a much higher likelihood of um, having tight, ferocious engagements that will result in a tit for tat
Yeah,
fight. 30 to 28 is a sign that there's a good match going on here.
absolutely.
So. But
Actually,
anyway, we have one more fella that really deserves some talking about in gold, and that's Soldier. He showed up for 4 matches in the last 2 weeks, and he is 4-0 against gold pilots, and will recognize the 2017 twice against Rethink in the levels Lurk and Athena, and a 20 to 15 against Sirius in Vamped. And so, top of gold is pretty well locked up. And that's coming from somebody who doesn't really have all that opportunity to stop it and play. And then, of course, we have to go to the Diamond tier, which has Mark 392 still sitting at number 1. He's played 6 matches in the last 2 weeks and has picked up a domination against Silver Pilot Bahamut 20-2 in Forte, and a couple of dominations against Gold Pilot Zero, who popped into play a couple. It's 20-8 in Flea and in Vamped.
and I've actually seen Zero playing some exhibitions against Jedi as well. So Jedi's, even though he's retired on the ladder, he's still playing. Maybe not as much as he was, but he's definitely a lot more active than I'd say
He's
some
got to
of,
stay
some of
sharp
the
to
gold
the win.
pilots, for instance.
He's got to stay sharp to the win.
Yeah, and
Speaking of said win, how many days is it? That's next weekend, isn't it?
yeah, that is next weekend for sure. Yeah, I wish I was going. I'm not going to be able to do that for like 4 days. That's just not possible. So
I am poor.
I
That's really the long and
Yes.
short of it. I'm not going to buy $1,000 plane ticket. I'm actually going to be poking around on Tuesday and Wednesday is when the last minute sales tend to crop up. And if I find something ridiculous, $300, the hell with it.
there you go.
But
So-
we'll see what happens there, and who
Yeah.
knows? I might not even get the time off of work. So
Yeah, and let's see. Of course, we're talking about the Cajun Country Descentland 2
Yes.
happening next weekend in Louisiana.
quite a bit of noise about that one. I recall reading that Toby Cat will be wandering his way on down. And other than that, looks like it's going to be a
never ends, Toby.
I already informed him of that, but since I won't be there, he won't have to ride the hate train. I do have to give him a little payback in Junebug one of these days, but we shall see. So anyway, that's all the DCL news that I have here. All 82 matches, and good big old thumbs up to those who were able to put in those matches. Keep those rivalries churning, and Silver, keep breeding the next gold level talent because gold needs it.
And of course, we talked in the last episode about the Descent 3 ladder. There hasn't been a whole lot of activity there. There have been 3 new games played. There's been total 5 games played on the ladder. Lady Silver is undefeated, 2-0, sporting a 1550 elo. Also undefeated. Obviously, these 3 haven't played each other yet. Birdseye 1-0 and Behemoth 1-0, both sitting at a 1525 elo. Bird Dog, the only other player on the ladder with a win, he's 1-1 at 1500. Bahamut's got 1 loss and Lee with 3 losses. There has not been a whole lot of activity on that ladder in the last week at all, and it's kind of pointless to talk about rankings on this particular ladder system when you're not playing matches for weeks at a time, because the top 10 lose rank every week and there's only 6 people on the ladder. So it's just like the rankings keep shuffling every few days. It's kind of silly, but it sounds like that group is still interested in playing. They may not be playing on the ladder, but I do know that they've been putting up Descent 3 servers. I believe you can check this out on the Descent 3 Facebook page. I believe what's his name? Foil has been putting up some servers to help them play. I think even Crom's been getting in there, and is it Crom? I think this is the one that's doing it. The two guys that are doing it. So there's been higher than normal Descent 3 action in the last month or so. So
Just something I know that you would be personally enthusiastic for if you could be playing 6 Degrees of Freedom games.
Yeah, I have choice words for my shoulder and mouse. So, and that does it for all the community news. Of course, the highlight of the week we mentioned was the long overtime match, Sirius 30, Morphod 28 in Ascend. You can check that out over on the DCL. Was there I think you posted a demo for that, didn't you?
I don't know. Did I? If not, I
no,
should
Sirius posted the demo, so you can see it from his side.
Well, I was on a poor connection at the time, so it's just you can only do so much. I'll have to double check to see if I haven't gotten rid of it. I may have done so out of anger and spite.
And Sirius pointing out in his match comments, it wasn't quite Mahut Eisner, and I love that reference. For those that don't know that reference, this is the record Wimbledon match that was played 8 years ago or something like that. That the fifth set went, what was it? It was like 138 games. When normal
Nice.
sets, the way it works, the sets are to 6, win by 2, and this went 70 to 68 in a game that's supposed to go to 6. So yeah, that was a reference, and I was just like, that's just an awesome reference. I thought that was really cool. So, do you have anything else this week?
You know, I got a mixtape in the mail. Somebody dropped something off in the Self-Destruct Sequence podcast mailroom. It was pretty janky. I actually had to go find a cassette player just so I can hear on there. I thought it was just some kid's bad rap music or whatever, but it actually turned out to be a show tune, and it was a ballad. It was a ballad, actually.
Show tune?
Yeah. Why don't you give it a run there? I put it on your desk.
Let me just pop this in here, and here we go. Very pretty.
Isn't it rich? Aren't we just fine? We're flying around underground, down here in the mines. Where are these mines? What is that hiss? I don't approve. One firing Vulcan around, one who can't move. Where are these mines? There ought to be mines. Just when I stopped camping the doors, finally knowing the glow from behind it was yours, making my entrance again with my usual flair, sure of my fire. The corner is bare. Don't you love lag? I can't plead I fear. I thought you'd be where I fired. I hate you, my dear. But where are the smarts? Quick, spawn all the smarts. Don't bother, they're here.
Very, very scintillating.
I was moved.
Did that
It
have a?
spoke to me.
Did that have a? Was it signed by anyone?
It was signed by Jimmy Russells.
Of course.
Who else?
Of course. Oh, well, I think on that note, I can't top that, so we're gonna have to end the show here.
That was Send in the Smarts by sorry, not Send in the Smarts. Where are the Smarts? To the tune of Send in the Clowns by our very own studio rat. He's just a golem that lives underneath the studio. Jimmy Russells. Always a delight to hear from him. And so, yeah, if we're wrapping up here, I'm gonna say, hey, if you have any questions, concerns, comments, or confessions that you'd like to communicate to us, feel free to email us at emails at selfdestructsequence.org. Be certain to note whether or not you wish to remain anonymous while we decide how it is we're going to make fun of you on the air. Other contact info, you can find us on Facebook. You can find us on Twitch at SDS Podcast, Twitter at SDS_activated. And, of course, all this information is available on selfdestructsequence.org.
And our schedule, of course, we're trying to be here every Saturday at 2:30 p.m. Pacific. That's 5:30 Eastern. Last week, unfortunately, I did not get to posting that we were not having an episode. My apologies for that.
Generally, I'd say they're going to do every other weekend, but I'll see what I can do in my schedule. But
Right,
I know that my presence, at least.
I am fairly certain that we're not going to have an episode this next Saturday, though. Just simply because
If there's just going to be too many people playing too many games.
Yes. So we're probably not going to have another episode until I think it's going to be the 13th, if my math is correct. So definitely come check us out. We have.
Hey, we would love to have field reporters. Just a recap of what goes on down Cajun country, descent land.
Yes.
We both wish you could be there. But go have a good time for our sake.
Absolutely.
If not your own.
Absolutely. And we're still maintaining our podcast over on iTunes. If you go give it a subscribe, a rating and review helps us out. That's the best thing you can do for the podcast. And if you want to get back into the game, Descent Champions has the page for you. That's descentchampions.org/new_player.php. And there you can find all the information you need to get back into the modern game. And that'll do it for this week. Just watch our Facebook and Twitter page, talk about our next stream. And until then, I am Runkley.
I am Mortified.
And
somewhere around here is Jimmy. But
bye, Jimmy. And we'll see you guys next time.